Hi everyone, it's Catherine here from Minky Figure Cat. I decided to do some scrapbooking this morning. I missed out on going to a crop yesterday for various reasons, and I was jealous because I was seeing everybody's lovely layout. So I decided, right, I'm going to definitely get some crafting done this morning, and I made a page. Sorry if it sounds a little bit echoey. I'm actually sat in the bath whilst I'm doing my voiceover, so probably too much information, but it does sound a little bit weird and echoey, but it's the first chance I've had to do the voiceover. So I decided to play along with the One Sketch Three Ways, which is a Facebook group that's run by my friends Helen, Sarah and Jackie, and then they choose a sketch for the month, and then they do their own ways of interpreting it, 3 ways, and then we get to play with the sketch. So the sketch they got, it was a page maps one, and I did follow it quite closely really, in terms of a lot of the elements that I chose were directly influenced by the sketch, such as the big strip of the pattern paper. But I did turn it it was when I did the sewing elements, I decided to turn it. So I immediately diverted, however, I'd got these 3 photographs, but I could not cut the middle one down to 3 by 3, which is what the page sketch suggested. It's just, I think it's 4 by 4 with the mat. So it's just under 4 by 4. The other 2 are 3 by 3, but then they've also got the mat on them, so it's slightly diverged from the original sketch. This paper is paper that I've used for a previous scrap page. I think it might have been the last one I actually did last month, and it was just still sitting there. So I decided to go with it. I think it's called Paper Blooms or something along those lines, including those sort of like swirly circles. So this is me deciding, right, part of the sketch has got these kind of lines going that suggests a stitched line. And I did contemplate getting the sewing machine out, but then I couldn't be bothered rethreading it because the colour that was in there wasn't going to work. And I decided instead I'd do hand sewing. First up, though, because I noticed that the sort of the stitched line went over the paper on the sketch, I pulled my paper back in and I just added that element. So I'm just drawing a little line to give me a guide for where I'm going to do my piercing. And then I'm going to use the piercing tool and the templates. I'm trying to think, is templates the right word? I think it is. In order to decide on my spacing of my holes and to try and keep them uniform and also in an actual line. So I did one line going that way and one line going the other way. I did end up covering some of the stitches up once it had been done with some of the paper elements, but I decided it didn't matter on this particular side of it. And I think it was this point where I'm sort of umming and ahhing and deciding that actually I quite fancy it vertical, like so. So that's what I'm sort of deciding on, whether I'm going to do it that way or not before I go and grab the threads. So I'm just having a little fiddle and having another look and seeing if I'm happy with that, and I am. I decided that was really cute and I quite like that. So I'm going to pop all the paper pieces off to the side, and for once I did my stitching on screen. I normally take it off and go and sit on the sofa. My sofa is currently full of all my daughter's stuff for going to university, so I can't sit on that. I mean, there are sofas in other rooms, but the one in my craft room, which is where I normally sit to do my sewing. So I did do it all on screen, but I have sped this up quite a lot. And I decided to just go for just a straight stitch with a gap between, because I thought that sort of echoed how the one on the sketch looked. So one going vertical, one going horizontal. So I'm just going to rapidly speed that up so that you don't have to sit and watch that sewing. On the backs, I just used a little bit of microporous tape, or you could use washi tape, in order to secure the threads. That's how I finish off. I just sort of like almost knot the ends as I'm finishing off, but as it goes through, that's what I've used, is just a little bit of microporous tape. Okay, so that's the basics of the stitching done, but I do come back a little bit later and do a little bit more. I decided, because I can't not do a little bit of mixed media type stuff, that I would just bring in this stencil from Bramble Fox and Tattered Rose as the ink, and just to go and give a base for the kind of the clusters that I end up adding. I did decide at the beginning that I needed the white frame around my pictures. I really struggle with pictures without a white frame, if I'm honest. I usually have them printed like that, but obviously these ones I've then chopped down. So I did need to add the white frame in. Now, I had a little hunt, and it's quite a Bramble Fox heavy layout in terms of all of the embellishments and stuff. But I had a little hunt through and found this acrylic, which was Click Snap. It's got like a little star in between the two words. And I thought the colours of it worked, and I thought it worked in terms of it was a picture of Maya taking a picture, and also a selfie of the three of us, and then a selfie of myself in front of the waves. So I figured that that was a perfect title. And then I found these beautiful little starfish. They all end up in different places, so don't worry about the placements of them at the moment. But yeah, the starfish, and then a few like random little quotes. I think it was Happy Days and Let's Explore or something along those lines. I haven't got it in front of me because I'm in the bath, so I can't tell you. And then some other elements. So I found this beautiful camera and then the shells. So I fussy cut all these out. So a little bit of a story about the day. The day is we were in Menorca in October. So even though one of my little things says summertime or something, it was summer still. It was our summer holiday, even if we had it in October. So we decided on this slightly cloudier day, although it was still very warm and indeed the sun did come out, we would go for a walk and explore the local area. We were staying, as I say, down on the south coast of Menorca, and this peninsula is called Cap d'Artrux or something along those lines. I can't speak Spanish, I don't know. Something along those lines. But it's a really nice walk all along the coast. Took us a couple of hours. We stopped in the middle when we got to the sort of the harbour area of the little town that we were staying in, went and had some lunch, and then we carried on walking all the way down to a lighthouse. So this is quite early on in the walk. The whole of the coastline of Menorca is just beautiful. These beautiful rocks, loads of fabulous waves to watch, especially in October. It you know, the sea was quite rough whilst we were there. It wasn't really swimming. It wasn't swimming sea. It wasn't like Mallorca in the middle of summer. It was quite rough. But it was just beautiful to watch. All the waves and to see the different kind of rock formations, and there was loads of rock pools and loads of bits and pieces going on. So we had a whale of a time, having a lovely wander, taking lots of pictures and just having a jolly time in nature, really. So these were the pictures that were taken, I say, quite early on in the day. So what have I done now in terms of my scrapbooking? Right, I've added in some additional sewing, this time in sort of like a diagonal line. And now I'm starting to commit and adhere things into place. So they don't necessarily go back where I'd originally put them when I was just laying it out. But I'm fine with how it ends up. It works well. I will say some of those Bramble Fox things, I do find it a little bit tricky because sometimes the glue doesn't dry quickly enough, and because I'm impatient, I move on, so then I end up squidging them around. So it's a good job my glue dries clear, because otherwise I'd end up with a big old tacky mess. So yeah, just dotting those shells, those glittery starfish around, just in the various clusters. I think at this point I go in and start adding some journaling. I do. So I'm just going to add in the fact that it was a slightly cloudy day, so we decided to go for a little bit of an explore around the coastline where we were staying. Later I did go in and add the month and the name of the place because I couldn't remember how to spell it, and so I did need my phone, which I'm filming on, in order to do that, so hence that's not on the camera. I went and grabbed this last little element. It was like a little freebie from Bramble Fox, which has got like a little tag. Threaded some of the remaining thread that I've been sewing with, and fiddled for a little bit, just adding little tiny dots of glue underneath to try and keep it in the same place. And again, I do end up having to mess a little bit with the actual acrylic shape because of the fact that I'd knocked it. And then I finished off just with these white sequins. Just added a little dot of glue, added the white sequins, so they don't show up so well on the camera here, but it just adds another little fun element to the page. And then, as I say, I called it done with just that little bit of additional journaling that I added once I'd turned the camera off and could use my phone. So here's the final page. I hope you like it. I really enjoyed doing this sketch, and to be honest, it got me back in the mojo for scrapping, which I haven't been really feeling for the last few weeks, so it was nice to get something different done. I hope you enjoyed. Please do give me a thumbs up if you did. Comment below what you liked about the page, and subscribe if you want to see more. There'll be more videos. I don't know what of, but there'll be more videos, so please subscribe and hit the notification bell. But otherwise, until next time, I'm finishing a wee bit ahead of my photographs, but goodbye.